Hi guys, Nick from HiFi Collective here. Yes, I know I need a haircut, but that's happening this afternoon, so you might see another take with me with the short hair. Who knows? Anyway, what we're doing today is we have stock of the new Elekit. It's a TU-8888 and it's a monoblock fitted with Lundau transformers. It's a push-pull, so you can use various valves. In here we have the KT120 valve popped in, but you can use 6550, KT88s, KT90s, KT150s and KT170s, and there's a few others. So quite a flexible monoblock. We have one here that was built by Elekit for their kind of development. It is amazing, big fat sound, very tight and controlled. But we're now going to take it down the route of an upgrade. So the kit, obviously you get two, monoblock, one each, goes for 1,900. So I have gone through a list of components, obviously picking the key components in the circuit, and the price tag on all the bits and bobs for two monoblocks is £1,055. So I want to talk about the component selection. So I'm going to lay out the bits and bobs. So we've gone for, obviously this is for two monoblocks. So we've gone for the tinfoil Teflon FEPs from SRC. These are decoupler caps. Really like the sound of those, and they're pretty close to the V-cap sound. I think they're great. For the very first decoupler, which has the most influence on this signal, we have gone for some 0.1 vitamin Q silver foils from Jupiter. Now, when I show you the board, you'll see that they've actually made provision for the fitting of bigger components. So that's those. Power supply. For the main reservoir cap, we have gone for a case eye. They are just amazing, so they really do add clarity and give a real good control on the bass. So there's a case eye, and then for the other kind of reservoir, we've gone for a Unicorn 47. For the fit of some of these, we're going to have them lying flat. So we're going to use a combination of blue tack and hot glue gun to get them fitted. You'll see when you have a look at the PCB that there's quite a lot of room inside. For some feedback resistors and grid stoppers that go into the valve, the signal, we've gone for the Charcrofts. Charcrofts are brilliant, incredibly clean sounding, very transparent. So that's those. There is a cathode, sorry, it's a grid 2 to cathode cap, which is a 0.47. We've gone for the Amtrans. Now they use a 630 volt, but you only actually see 120 volts there, so we're using the 250 volt. The AMCGs there. For the cathode cap on the first valve, we've gone for some bipolars, case size, the best kind of electrolytic you can get. There are various resistors that are used for the anode cathode on the phase splitter. We've gone for the Amtrans AMRGs. Now, we always like to mix up component types. These are carbon film, so we have used some TANTs as well elsewhere. So you don't want to use the same type, you want to mix it up. So that's those. And we have some more here, the 120s for AMRGs. And there's some bits missing in this list, which we've got some audio note TANTs, non-magnetic, in the mix as well. Yeah, just the 1 meg, unless I've dropped them. No, we'll find those later. So we provide you with a complete list of what to buy. So you basically just go on the site and add to your cart and just go for it. What else have we got there? No, I think I've covered all those. So just the key components. Yeah, so we have used some of the audio note tanks for, one is the EF86, the first valve, the anode load, and also for the grid 2 load as well. So there you go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it apart. It's so easily put together, this kit, in the sense of the component bits. So let's put these to the side. So just to take it apart, you just need your Phillips screwdriver. So top cover. Take the valves out. So when you take a valve out, you just do a slow circle and pop out, slow circle, pop out. With the outputs, you don't hold the glass, you hold the base. And then similar, slight round motion, and they pop out quite easily. They do roll, so don't put them on the side because they just smash and pop it over there. This one, out. Put these two tubes there. Always good to have somewhere you can put all your screws so you don't lose them. We've got to take the top cover off as well. Allen keys. So obviously this one's got the standard components fitted. So once we get the board out, the first thing we're going to do is mark up the board, because we are going to have to remove the old components by using a solder sucker and also some desoldering braid, which we have both of. So the thing about taking components off a board, you obviously applying heat to the PCB, and the weak point there is the track. You don't want the track to be destroyed or for it to come away from the board. So go in with a hot iron, go in quick and get out, clean it up. Actually, I'm going to take this side off first. It's going to scratch. So 4 more screws here. Take the lid off, pop to the side. So here you can see the Landau transformer and their R-core mains transformer. I was just taking off that last hex bolt there. So that's the front panel that goes off, pop it there. So you can see there's various connectors here. You need to take them off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Boom. So here we have the board. Not a lot to it. We're going to take the board out now. So there's a handful of screws. Kind of posi drive screws, one in each of the octal valve bases. One there. One there. And then you've got the 2 at the rear. 2 at the rear. And then you've got a self-tapper at the back, just below the input RCA socket. Ta-da! So pop that to the side. So here we have the board. So with a pen, not a permanent marker, I'm just going to mark up the components on both, on the side that's where you're taking the solder off, which ones you're going to move. So I've got the board, and you can see I have done, let's have a pointer, dots, little black dots, using not a permanent Sharpie pen. This is a whiteboard pen. You could probably use a pencil. So all these black dots are where the components, I'm taking them out all the way around. And then on the opposite side, I've actually done pen dots nearest the joins that I'm removing. Now I haven't put the black ink on the solder joint because it's just going to get messy. You know, black stuff is all through, mixed up with the solder. You just want to keep it clean. So to desolder, I'm going to, well, you need a soldering iron to heat the original solder. Let's turn mine on. It's a Weller WTCP 51. A sponge to give it a clean. You're going to have to keep cleaning. You kind of might want to use an extractor fan. Mine's on the floor there, but I won't use it because it just covers the noise. Desoldering braid. We don't sell this, but we should do really. This I got from RS. You can get it from Rapid. So the way this desolder braid is, you put, I'll show you. I'm going to do it in a minute. And then desolder pump. So just acts on suction. Right. Just waiting for the soldering iron to heat up. When it comes to soldering later, going to be using famous M-Solder Silver Gold, 3.8% silver content. Been using this for many, many years, from Mundorf. Well, that should be all right now. I'm just checking to see if it's hot enough. Now I've got a fat tip on the soldering iron because that transmits more heat, which you need, but you've got to be quick. I'm going to sit down for this. You've got to be super quick because you do not want to mess up the actual track. So let's go for these. This is a bank of resistors. So heat up the solder's melted in, suck. I mean, it hasn't removed all of it, which is a pity. It's going to go. So the thing about this is you can heat the track up, yeah, but then you need to move on. So I've done the best I can with the sucker. It's not brilliant. But I'm not going to then go back and heat it again because you're just applying more and more heat to the same point. So I'm just going to go along these points here. Make sure your tip's clean. In there, 1, 2, 3. Oh, look. This solder socket is not good. Next one. All right, that's done a better job. Sometimes you need to take these things apart to clean them out. I might do that in a minute. Heat. That's better. Heat. Better. And then the other side of the resistor. Oh, much better now. I'm on the flow. Oh, yes. Another thing is when you are removing the actual lead out, sometimes you can force the actual lead out, and what that does is damage the track. So you kind of need to use your iron. So what I'm going to do underneath, I'm going to put my nail under. So there's one side. See, that came out easily, lovely. I'm not forcing the issue. That one came out easily, excellent. That one did as well. Oh, it's all going well. That one came out quite easily. So did that. So did that. Well, there's initial two didn't go so well. So I'm basically just going to heat them up and just slightly pull them. Brilliant, brilliant. But now you can see those holes, some of them you can just go in and solder. And those that I can see the holes, I'm not going to do any more with. There is one there that the hole's covered, so I'm just going to use the braid. And basically you put the braid over the solder join. And 1, 2, 3, done. So you can see there, that's nice. I'm not really worried, I don't want to go in again heating these holes up. So that's come up really nice, that one. The others are fine for later. So let's try the other technique, which is using the braid. So, the problem is you've got the lead out is protruding, and you're trying to put the braid over the top and suck it out at the same time. Ooh, that was quite good. So what I'm doing now, I'm actually getting it so that the lead out is kind of protruding into the middle of the braid. Then I'm heating it up. Right, one's come out easily, then I have to go back in and take the other one out with a bit of heat. Oh, but then I need to clean it up a bit. Cool. Right, so I feel best technique, use a solder sucker once, then go in the braid if you have to. Yeah? So let's try again. Let's do some more. 1, 2. Bloody miss. 1, 2. I think maybe I should get a new solder sucker. I used to have a few, but anyway. 1, 2. Oh, that was a good one. Again, this lead out doesn't want to come out, so I'm just going to give it heat. But then I've got to go over it with the braid. So when it's just a flat solder tag with a bit of solder in, you just need to get it clean. I think using the braid is better. Cleans it up nicely. Great, so cracking through this. See what I mean? Big lump of stuff there. You get achy thumbs doing this. So I'm going to take this apart so you can see how much solder builds up inside. Pretty clean. So I'm going to do one that's a bigger component. So we're talking the electrolytics. So that's these two. Just going to show you that quickly, but you just need to go through the board and do it all. The big cap's this one. So similar principle. Heat it up. So neither of them are loosening. So I'm just going to heat it up, put some. Right, you can see there that I've lifted that solder joint. This is what you don't want to do. See that there? I'm pretty sure I've lifted the track, but it's okay because it's not detached from the track below it. So let's just heat it up, get rid of all that. That's all right, that's fine. Cool, so they're ready for joining. Cool, so let's just go through the whole board, get rid of all these components. Once I've done that, I'm going to clean it up. So you can see now that I've removed all the components. I'm going to give it a bit of a clean. To clean, I'm going to use isopropyl alcohol cleaner. Isopropyl. I don't know whether I'm saying that correctly. So I just pour a bit in there. This stuff evaporates anyway. It smells great. So you've got your little brush, it's got kind of quite tough ends. And I'm just going to get rid of the black dots, so just there. Don't worry about, making it a bit wet because it will come off, as in it'll evaporate. And make your room smell nice. Get rid of that. Any more for any more? That's good. So you can see it's wet there. Give it a minute, that'll be gone. So turn it around. You can see what difference it makes. It gets rid of all the crap that's on the solder mask. Just gets rid of any dirt that you don't want to reintroduce. They're like eyelashes, these, so you might knock a few out, like there, but we'll get rid of those in a minute. We don't sell this, but you can get it from, I don't know, any hardware store. All looking good. Oh, it smells lovely. While you're doing this, just make sure all the ones you've desoldered have got holes showing. So when you put the new leads in. So yeah, maybe use a pencil rather than a blackboard marker. Okay, so the board is ready for mounting the audio grade parts. I'm bringing a couple of things into the mix. Some blue tack here, and then some 1mm wire and some sleeving, though you could just use 1mm diameter solid core wire. That's because we're basically going to be placing that component there. Blue tack's going to fit it there. You can use hot glue gun as well, but I'm not going to. And then you have to have flying leads going to the connections there and there. We're also doing a similar thing down here, but that's smaller caps, very easy to sort out. So starting with the resistors. So can I get a pen? Can I get a pen, Johnny, so I can stick out what I've done? Penga. So first one is a 2K2, it's R3, and R3 is down here. Now, obviously, the lead outs need to have a bit of bend action there. So bend, 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 bend. So these Charcrofts are pretty delicate, so don't scratch the film because then you'll change the resistance. They're not directional, so either way around. There you go, R3. I'm just going to put them in first and then solder later. So that's R3, and I'm going to tick R3. Done. R4 is a 120R AMRGs. 120R. Here we go. And that's R4. R4 is there. Now these are a bit fatter. If you can, always have the value displayed. I mean, these are pretty cool because they have the value there. So have it so when you fit them, they're showing. So R4s straight in there. Try and get them so they're touching the board. That's cool. R4 done. So 10K Amtrans. There's these. Quite a few of these to be done. R12 is there. Again, had the value showing. That's there. Oh, cool. That's R12, R13. That's there. There's a value. Bend the leads. These aren't directional either, so either way around. So got that one there. 13, 12 and 13, 14. I mean, if you want to be really neat about it, you could bend the leads under the body like that, so they're spot on. 14, like that. R15 is below it. Cool. So that's those all done. So this is obviously, these guys are for the other amp. Put them over there. R6 is an audio note 220. There they are. R6. This is a non-magnetic tantalum from audio note 220, the EF86 anode load. These aren't directional either. Cool. R7, EF86 grid, second grid number 2 to load resistor. So it's R7, and that is a 1 meg audio note. R7. No. That's good. And then R8, 9, 10 and 11 are 1 meg AMRTs. The values R8, 9, 10 and 11 face splitter circuit. So R8, that's all those. Again, these aren't directional. R9. R10. And R11. Brilliant. And then the last resistor is another Charcroft, and this is a grid stopper R2. Here, it's down here. Done the lead outs right on that one. Done too wide. Wicked. So just an amendment back to the beginning of when I was putting these components in. The first one I did was is R3. So I'm actually using an Audio non-magnetic 1/2 watt. So I'm just going to do that now. I hadn't soldered them in, so it's not a problem. So I'll pop that in there. Like so. R5 is a feedback. So Charcrofts are very good for feedback. Resistors, clean sounding, so that's, it goes in R5. So that concludes all the resistors. So I'm quickly going to solder those chaps in. Yep, all good. Using the Audio solder, sorry, the Mundorf solder. Bash around. So you can see where, I haven't got rid of all the original solder. You're actually, when I've taken the old components out, you're actually getting a really good join. So it's no big issue. Better not to keep heating the pads. Distressing the track. You don't want that. It's my soldering hand anyway. Come out down here with the solder. And that is all the resistors in place. Just going to cut the lead short. All good. Let's give them a bit of a wash with the old Isopropanol. Nice and clean. Okay, so now we have the caps. Let's deal with the electrolytics first. So this is the main reservoir cap. So the original component is 120 UF 500 volt, but Audio don't make 120 UF, it's not standard value, so I'm going to go with 100. And you're asking yourselves, why would you go to a lower capacitance? Don't worry about it. The quality of these is going to far outshine the quality of the ones they use, which actually aren't that bad. Right, so C16 in here, you've got positive and negative. This you can identify as the negative. Be wary, it's very close to this, so trying to scratch up the body of that. So in there, just give it a push. That's that one done. And then the other easy fit ones are these. So these are down here. Now, you might have to give these a bit of a bend, an angle, because I know that the clearance is about 10 mil on there. So actually saying that, I need to angle these chappies a little bit. So here you go. This is the 0.47. Now be aware of, they say 630 volt in the instructions, but these are 250 volt rated, but it doesn't go anywhere near. It's about 175. So the non-directional, it doesn't matter which way around. They don't tell you which is the inner or outer. So pop it in there. Right, okay, so we're just going to extend the leads higher, and then hold on a cotton pit a minute. Let's think about this. So I'm going to pop it there, the extended lead outs. So one goes in there. Like so. And the other one, the other lead out, I'm going to use this to insulate the lead. Let's bring that one up again. Cut it short. Like that. See? That's fine. Just going to solder that in because it could flap around. Right, we fitted, soldered those in, soldered that in. Now we're going to do the signal caps. So these are the FEPs from, who are these from? Solen's in Canada. So they have an inner and outer foil. So the outer foil is this end. The inner foil is this end where the writing starts. So these 0.47s are replacing those. They're going to fit in there. I'm not a fan of them hovering like that, but yeah, needs must. So it says here, outer foil, inner foil. So that's the right way around. Like so. So there is a restriction on the size on these. But these are fine. These are within what they say. Again, outer, inner. Okay, let's just make sure we can see what value it is. Let's solder those in. Cool. Brilliant. So you've got the silver vitamin Qs. The line on the body indicates the outer foil. So it's like there. So this one is the big bucks, but it has the most influence on the sound. Okay, so remember it's labelled up outer inner. Boom, bada boom, pop, pop. Cool, that's done. So now we have a bit of jiggery pokery. So we're changing 2 electrolytics, but because it's 10 mil, you can't have anything above 10 mil. So these are obviously too big, so we have to have them lying down on their side. And does the wire go through the hole? Yes, thankfully. Sweet. So I'm going to have one like that. Let's just do that one first. So we've got, these are bipolar. Doesn't matter which way around they go. Great. So one like that. Bend it there. The other one like that. Bend it there. That sits there. Obviously you don't want these 2 wires touching. God, I feel like a plumber laying pipe. Ridiculous. Right, there you go. That'll do. Cool, so you see what I've done there? So I'm going to solder that in quickly. I don't want that guy moving. Right, for the other one. I'm going to put it about there. That's easier. Right, hold on. There's obviously a bit of solder in the hole, so I'm going to have to clean it out properly. So that should go in. Yep. So now I'm just going to pull those bits through, a bit each side. That's one that's going to be tight, another one that's going to be level. You've got that then? There you go, that's like that. Right, I'm going to put a bit of blue tack on these. I mean, you can put some glue gun under there if you want. Just going to put some blue tack, just a little bit. Little roll. Cool. And then this one is the very last one. So I'm going to put it there, like that. So I'm going to use silver wire, why not? Solder it in. So remember, just going to pop it there. Yep. So you've got to identify what the negative is and what the negative has got the black. I don't know if you can see, one of them's marked black. It's got a black mark there. So that's a negative. And then obviously the other one's positive. Yeah. So this is a negative, and that's going to go there. So trim that down. All of that in. Sweet. So here is your upgraded board. you should be able to just put that back and it will play. But I think we're going to go through the test process. So we're going to put it all back together again. And then give it a test. Okay, so we are now in a position where the board is in, it's got all the upgraded parts in. I'm going through the test procedure just to make sure everything is good. So the first thing you need to do is you put your tubes in, and then you take out this connector, CN4. So you pull those out there, make sure they're not touching anything. That's fine. You put your power cord in, like so. There's no inputs, there's no speakers connected, and then you just switch her on, like that. You're going to see a light go on there, so you know things are going on. But what you're doing here is testing to see that the valves are getting heat, they're actually warming up. But we're going to have to turn the lights down low, so you can actually see. So yeah, bear with, it's going to get dark. And then this one. Oh. So you can see, I can see the orange light in the middle of the KT120s. I can see from this angle that's heating up, and that's heating up. Brilliant. So that's all good. So the next process is turn it off, and we put the lights back on. Is it that one? It's that one. Okay, so now we're going to put some music in through her. So connecting up some speakers at the back. There's 4 ohm and 8 ohm here. I'm going to put into the 8 ohm. Like so. And then we're using the HiFi digital to audio converter there that feeds off a USB. Not a USB. Yes, it is a USB. Right, so we've got some music going in, and now we've got this connected up again. So the CM4, you've got to connect that up. So this is a quick check. And we should just hear some music. Was that you? What's that? So it's music, it's working. Right, so now we know it's kind of working on that level. So turn it down. We're now going to go through the bias. So before you do anything, all the biases should be turned down here, like this. You can't see the labeling, but if you look at the front panel here, so turn A fully to low, which I've done. And it says wait for 5-6 minutes, but you know they're going to have warmed up. So I'm basically going to turn the bias to just A, which is that one, and I'm going to turn it so you see where it's the top range, there's a green slot with 50. So I'm going to turn it until the needle gets into that groove. So probably about midway. Is that about right, Johnny? I can't really see from this angle. About halfway. Cool. So now that's one bias. Bias B, which is turn low. It's a DC balance. I'm going to press this button, and then I'm going to turn this until we get it in the bottom level in the green box. It's about there. Yeah. So you might want to readjust every now and then. You can see it's kind of dropped a bit, so we can turn it up a bit there. You can always, when you turn the amp on, you're always going to see the top bias is connected up and it's showing, so it needs to be midway in the green, I'd say. So that's all the bias set up, so I'm happy with that. Cool. So there's quite a few test points you've got to do. So we know it's kind of playing music, we've set the bias up, we're all happy with that. So we're going to have the ground point is here. So connect up to the ground point. there. Whatever you do, don't touch anything inside. It's on. You'll get a shock. And then we just go round the test points. Now the first lot of test points are DC voltage. So, and then there's a range. The first one, test point 1, is a low voltage. But it's kind of, you've got to find where the test points are. So trust me when I am touching the right point. So this is point 1. Cool, that's 2.8 volts, which is great, within range. Point 2 should be 130 volt. Oops, I have to increase the range, 130 volt. Yeah, that's 130.5, wicked. Point 3 is around there. You will get some blips and blops coming through your speaker, as that is. 126, you can always put a resistor as your load. You always have to have a load connected to an output of valve amp when it's on. So that's 126, that's fine. Point 4. Point 4 is over here. So on the board, you're going to have quite small arrowed rectangle shaped with a number in the middle of it. So point 4 is 82, that's fine. Point 5, you're always going to get a bit of variation. Point 5 is 95. Yeah, that's 95, that's great. Point 5, point 6, I'm going to put the range up, goes up to 245. That's point 6. That's 255, brilliant. Well, it's a bit up, but who cares? I think that'll be fine. It's not that far off, is it? And then 7, 8, 9, 10, all minus 52. So it depends on what valve. So standard voltages, they're KT88, so I'm going to go with that one. So 7 is there. Yeah, that's cool. 8 is there. Yeah, that's cool. 9 is there. That's cool. 10 is there. That's great. 53. Not a problem. And then we're now going down to a low voltage. So I'm putting it to the range of 2. Right, so we're on 11 now. 11 is 0.2. Yeah, cool. 12 is 0.2. Cool. 13 is 400, so we're going to go up to 1000 volt range. 445 for 13. Thirteen is here. Yep. 14 is there. Yep. 14 is the same, 445. 15 is 440. Right, we'll come back to 15. I'm going to find it in a minute. So 16 is 440, which is a pin there. Cool, that's fine. 17 is minus 120. Cool. 18 is 5. Cool. 19 is 340. Where's 19? It's warming my face. There it is. 19 is 350, yes. It says 340, that's fine. 20 is 450 volt. It's 460, that's fine. You're going to get variation. So far, the AC mains coming into this place is high. The overall voltages are going to be high. Valve operation characteristics going to make things a bit different. So I'd say 10% tolerance of this. So done 20. 21. 21. Was I looking for 15 earlier? Mm-hmm. I found it. Cool, 15 is 453. So 21, back to 21 again. Right, let's do 23 because we can find 23. 23 should be 5 volts. Yeah. And then 24. God, I couldn't find 24 earlier.
That was by a valve.
Was that?
Yeah. Something by that one, I think.
Yeah. Sorry. 24 is, yeah, that's great. So it was 21 we couldn't find, wasn't it? 21 and 22. Aha, 21. So 21 is by the fuse here. So, fudge. So there, 384 should be 470. And 22, is that the other side of the fuse? Yeah, it's the other side of the fuse. There. It's going to be the same, obviously. Yeah, that's great. I so nearly touched something. Right, okay, so that's all the DC checks. Now we're going to do those AC checks. Now, to measure AC, got to turn the meters to AC. 25, measurement is 6.3. So 25 is around here. So you're basically shoving your probes down the connectors. Yeah, 6.56, fine. And then turn the range up. 65 is for 26. Yeah, 66.3, that's fine. And then 27 is your big old HT AC going in, which are those two. Oops, I've got to change the adjustment. So when you touch, say like now I'm on AC, if I touch that I get a shock, so just be careful, yeah? There you go, 366. Cool, so I've now got the probe stuck. There we go, cool. Right, so it's all checked, so let's turn it off and then we're gonna play some tunes. Okay, so we've now done the full test on the upgraded TU-8888. All working really well, we've tested all the voltages. So all that remains is to show you that it's working and sounding really quite good. We're going to play some sweet, sweet jazz. Until next time, see you later. Just before I sign off, I want to say a big thank you for watching our videos. Like and subscribe and follow us on all the social network platforms. See you later.